So we have Danny Tarkanian with us, Tarkanian for Congress at DannyTarkanian.com. Danny, thank you again for staying on the line. We were talking about I'm thinking we're going to have a red wave because, people are pretty happy with the way the country's been going.
Yeah, there's a lot. It just depends who you talk to. I try not to get caught up just feeling that the movement is based upon the people that I'm closest with, and because there's others that feel differently. It was the same with Barack Obama. The people I hung around with did not feel he was a very good president, and then you see others that are just off the charts with him. Mm-hmm. The facts are this: we have the greatest economy going right now that we've had at least since Ronald Reagan, and probably even before that. It's been in only 18 months of what President Trump has done, and we're already seeing GDP growth in the 4%, lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We can go on and on. I love the things that he's doing overseas. He's making the NATO members pay their fair share of the military costs. Who doesn't believe that should happen? Why should the United States be paying the military costs of all these other countries? I'm a big believer that we need to take care of Americans first, American workers first. President Trump's doing that with the tariffs. So when you look at what's happening to what affects us, our pocketbook and our security, you got to love what President Trump's doing. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like the way he talks. He's a brash guy. He attacks people that attack him, and some people don't like that, and it turns them off, and they're going to vote against him. And I have some people that I'm close with that have said they won't vote for me because of the way President Trump talks. And I said, well, I look at what's happening to our country and the results. That's what I care about most. And I believe that most of the people that go to the polls in November, when it gets down to it, that's what they're going to do.
Exactly. And, your endorsement by Donald Trump, to me, doesn't mean that you have the same verbiage and vernacular as he, right? And it doesn't mean you tweet the same. It means that, one, he thinks you're a fantastic candidate. He thinks you are going to help America progress and stay strong. And it also means he endorses your individuality and what you can bring to Congress. I mean, I've known you and your family for years, and the way you are with children and how you want to support education and your ideas are phenomenal, and I wish most of Congress would think the way you do.
Well, I really appreciate that. I think what the support President Trump did with that endorsement, also my support for him, is more about, I believe strongly in his America First policies. And you take away the political rhetoric, who doesn't believe that we should take care of the people that are living here in our country first before we go overseas and start helping the rest of the world? Or who doesn't believe that we should take care of our veterans who have fought in the wars and give them everything they need medically and job training and so forth before we spend another penny overseas fighting a war we shouldn't be in? Those are the things I believe in and I'll fight for. You mentioned education. I think that's one of the most important issues out there in my district and in Clark County, because our school system is having such a difficult time performing. And it's a clear difference between my opponent and I, and I'd like to talk about that for a second if we have the time.
Absolutely.
Well, the opponent I'm running against has been a big supporter of these new programs that they're putting into the public school system. They're like these new test programs or trial programs, and they think, hey, if we put more money into this group of kids, we can help them do this or that. And what they do is they're taking money from the teachers in the classrooms and the assistants in the classrooms. I'm a big believer that if you want to get the best education for our kids, have the best people teaching, pay them a salary that they're going to be happy with and they're going to come and work for you. Give them the ability to be innovative and creative in the way they teach their children. Put the resources in the classroom. And then the other thing that we've seen in our economy, which is the greatest in the history of society, is that when you create more competition, you always get a better product at a lower cost. So school choice is, I think, an absolute necessity. School choice would allow parents to decide how their tax dollars are going to be used to pay for the education of their children. Who's against that? Is our tax dollars, shouldn't we be able to use it for what we think is the best situation for our children educationally? And I believe if we do that, it's not only going to make the private sector schools better, but it's going to force a public school system to compete and get better itself. And I think it's a win-win for everybody.
We're talking to Danny Tarkanian. DannyTarkanian.com is his website, and I love how he delineates this. I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-life. And I'm pro-life to the fact where I think parents have the right to choose, like, their education. I agree with what you wrote here, where, you're amazed at some of the hypocrisy that's out there, where, we as parents, one is I want to protect the life of the baby, and two, I'd like to choose where my kid goes to school. I'd like to choose what programs that my child has access to. I found that fascinating, what you wrote on your website.
Dahlia, we all do, don't we? I mean, any listener out there that doesn't feel that they should have the right to determine the best education for their kids. My opponent spends $75,000 per year to send her child to a boarding school out of state because she thinks that's the best interest of the education for her child. She sent her kids to private school when they were younger. She's had the ability to pay for that. How about the people that don't have the ability to pay $75,000 to send their kid to a boarding school or for the Meadows tuition here in Southern Nevada? They're stuck in the public school system because we don't give them that choice. It's not fair just for the wealthy and the privileged to be able to take advantage of school choice. It should be everybody has that opportunity.
Exactly. And, me being a doctor, I've always been in alignment with, how you feel about health care. And you have, Danny, you have what we call the chutzpah, the guts that we need. I mean, you are unequivocally in support of the repeal and replacement of Obamacare. How can you get Congress to act? I'm really shocked at the stalling that happened, and I'm frustrated by that.
Well, there's two things to that. First of all, there wasn't too many votes away from getting it repealed, and I think we got a great chance on this next legislative session. The problem with the Affordable Care Act is it's unaffordable for everybody who pays for their own insurance. People that are getting federal subsidies to pay for their health insurance, they love Obamacare because the government's paying for their health insurance, but it's the hardworking middle-class Americans. My family is a perfect example. We paid $480 a month for our health care before Obamacare. Now we're paying $1,840. We had a $1,000 deductible. Now it's $5,000. We had $25 copay. Now it's $150 for a specialist. We're getting, just killed by the increase in those costs, and it's not fair to the people that are paying it out. So what do? I mean, we need to repeal it. I think we're going to get it done this next legislative session. The answer to me is, again, going back to what's made our economy so great, and we have to create more competition with the products out there and have the people that are purchasing that products know what the cost is or what they're getting and let them pick and choose. That's what's made our economy so great. Why don't we do that in the medical field? The Obamacare has basically eliminated competition. There's only 2 health insurance providers here in Clark County and only 1 in 14 counties in Nevada, so there's no competition. Let's get back to the competition. And then you look at the services, the medical services that have not risen dramatically, like the LASIK surgery and the plastic surgery. It's because they identify what the cost is for these type of procedures, and the doctor can then you get to pick and choose. Do you want to spend that much for this doctor? Can you go to another doctor and do this or that? How many people do that with their health insurance if when they're trying to determine what type of services they're going to have outside of those 2 areas?
Absolutely. And, one thing also that I find that is kind of fascinating is you and I, we live in Nevada. We've been in Nevada forever. I got here in the early 80s. And, representing Nevada in Congress, you're not only representing metropolis, but also rural. And so I think your views on healthcare definitely can resonate throughout the country because you kind of know what Nevadans need, and actually, Danny, we're going to be coming up on another break. Do you have a few more minutes to stay on? Because I want to talk more about this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just with Nevada having big huge cities of millions of people, but then also rural. The way to tackle healthcare and the way to get healthcare through. I agree. We have to promote competition. We need more. We need more sense. That's what we need. Not a big nasty bill. Don't go away, Danny. We'll be right back. And guys, we'll be right back. 1-877. Dr. Deliah. To politics, but we are back. We're back on the Dr. Deliah Show with Danny Tarkanian, DannyTarkanian.com. You got to check out his website. Danny, I think you remember this story that where somebody broke into my house. You and I both live in Nevada, and Las Vegas has its challenges with crime. And somebody broke into my house, and I grabbed the shotgun. I cocked the shotgun. I stood in front of my kids' rooms, guarding the room, and I yelled at him to get the heck out, and I was going to fire a warning shot, and I was so grateful that I live in a country where I could protect my kids. Where are we with the Second Amendment and defending it?
Well, side that's on the liberal side, the Democrat side. They want to take away law-abiding citizens' rights to bear arms and protect themselves at the expense of new laws that criminals will continue to break, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to pass new laws, the only people that are going to follow them are the people that are,
right.
like you just mentioned, going to protect themselves. The ones that want to commit the crimes are going to and shoot you or break into your home or commit a crime, they're going to break the gun laws. Why wouldn't they?
You know, and I like what you have. You have the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. We've seen these cases where upstanding citizens or off-duty cops or veterans are the ones that stop the shooting because they're the ones that cock the gun and let the bad guy know that they're there. It's a challenge. It really is.
And everybody should have that right. You shouldn't deny that right to anybody. Some people feel more comfortable with a gun than others, and I think that's their individual right. Some people don't want to have that ability, and they can have that right. But for those that do, it's not only right. It's not constitutional to take that right away from them.
Danny, you have 4 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, Amy. You are, you're a family man. You're a good guy. And, on a personal note, it's got to be hard, putting yourself out there like this for politics and for the country. And, what made you decide? Where did this passion come from to help, make America better?
Well, growing up, I was just idolized, or I wanted to emulate what 2 great senators from Nevada did, and that was Senator Paul Laxalt, who was a Republican, and Senator Richard Bryan, a Democrat. They were true statesmen. You had great respect for them. You knew whatever they told you they were going to go back and do. And I thought this was a great way to make a major impact with your life. Everybody has different things that motivate them. Some people want to be in the glory. Some want to be in athletics. Some want to have the most money. I think when it's all over and done and they're laying you in the ground, the thing that makes the most difference is the impact you've had on other people's lives, and in public service you can do that, and that's been my inspiration. But I'd like to touch a little bit when you start talking about how it affects families. When I first decided to run for office, I was speaking with, at that time, Attorney General Brian Sandoval, who's now our governor, and he told me the hardest thing he had was when his kids got to be a certain age and they could understand these horrendous personal attack ads that are always not true, when their kids can understand them and how it affects them. For many years, first, I've had over $14 million in these character assassination ads that aren't true thrown against me in the last 6 years. But fortunately for me, up until the last election, my kids didn't know what was going on. Now they're seeing these ads on Facebook. They're seeing them on YouTube and all these other things, and it has a huge effect on them. So it runs people off that are really good people that want to run for office. When we allow people to make up lies and smear someone's character with no basis at all you do is you make us have less quality people representing us because they have to face these things with their kids. Exactly.
And your family is strong, and you're strong, and bless you for everything you've done. Also, I love that you're, a man in a family of faith. I think it's been. I think it really kind of helps you, especially through the difficult times. And you guys have definitely weathered some storms with this. And I endorse you. I know you are the bomb. You are the bomb. And I can't think of a better family and a better person in you, Danny. So thank you for running.
Well, thank you. And I think what you mentioned there is the reason why I can handle a lot of the stuff they say about me and some of these tough losses I've had in races. People's priorities get mixed up, and they look at the thing most in front of them that they want to succeed in, and if it doesn't, it just crushes them. The way I look at it is I am so blessed. I got, as you mentioned, not only a beautiful wife, she's very intelligent, engaging. I have great children. They're all healthy. I'm able to provide for them. I'm the best that we can, which is good enough. What else is most important in life? There is nothing more important than that. And then whatever else you have in life is a bonus. So, hopefully we win this race, and I can go back to D.C. and make a difference like Senator Laxalt and Senator Bryan. If I don't, I still have my beautiful, wonderful wife, my kids, our health, our financial security. I've been very blessed.
You have been, absolutely. For those of you joining us, we're talking to Danny Tarkanian. DannyTarkanian.com is his website. Now, one thing I'm sure you're aware of. So I have a lot of family, and I'm always in multiple different states speaking, and a lot of people have a very bitter image of Nevadans because of Senator Harry Reid. I mean, yeah. Senator Harry Reid, and bless him. Again, I know he's on the other side of the aisle, but, he's a human being. But, boy, some people really hated him, and they believe that's representative of Nevada. I mean, do you think you have a lot of work cut out for you, representing Nevada now after his, trailblazing?
Look, we've gotten some really good people in public service here in Nevada that represent us well. Senator Reid had a different attitude towards public service than I have, but he was very, very successful at it. But I wouldn't want that kind of success. His whole political philosophy was to burn and destroy, conquer and destroy, and it was represented by that comment he made about at that time candidate Romney and his tax returns, saying he didn't pay his taxes, and when they found out that Romney had, they asked Harry Reid about it. How could you make that statement? Romney paid those taxes, and Harry Reid's response was, well, he lost, didn't we? So it worked. I mean, what kind of person is proud of that? My dad used to say the most important thing in being life is honest and true to yourself. And if you are, you look in the mirror, even if you've lost, you can be proud of what you're looking at. But if you had a great success and you did it to lie and deceive people, how do you look at your mirror and be proud of yourself? And I really try to live by that philosophy.
Exactly. And amen. May your father rest in peace. A great man. So I think because of things that happened with Harry Reid and others, you're a proponent for term limits. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, it's just common sense tells you, look at you. The biggest problem we have in politics right now is the money that goes into races, primarily to people that have voted on their bills, or they have influence with legislators that have voted on their bills. So we have term limits for every office in Nevada and for the president. So the only people that don't have term limits in Nevada are congressmen and senators. Why would we want that? And you look at an example. Why is it that the approval rating for congressmen and senators are in the low teens across the board, but they keep getting reelected? 90% of them get reelected. It's because they have the money that they can then use to lie about their opponents, and people believe in that, and they reelect them. Is that the best political process we want? Is that what we really want from our politicians? I think everybody should be on a level playing field. Go out there, talk about the issues, persuade the voters why you're the best person to be elected because of what you'll do in office, not based upon the money that has permeated through the political system.
Amen. Amen. So, Danny, how can people find you and help support your campaign?
They can go to our website, which is my first and last name. That's Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, and then Tarkanian, Tarkanian.com. We've got a lot of volunteers helping us. We have a lot of fun here, too. I mean, we have some great events. We'd love to have you volunteer. If you would like to make a contribution, you go to the same website. This is the most important race in the entire country, and I don't say that just because I'm in it. It very well may determine the control of Congress, and it very well may determine the control of the Senate, because Dean Heller cannot win Nevada if he doesn't win CD3 by a substantial amount. Exactly. And it even will determine who controls the governor's race. Adam Laxalt will not win the governor's race if he doesn't win CD3 by a significant amount. So a lot is riding on this for us here in Nevada and across the country, and I hope that you will join us and help us to be victorious.
Thank you, Danny Tarkanian. You rock. Can't wait to have you back. God bless.